He followed the guard into the interview room, and D'Angelo walked into the adjacent viewing room. Newt sat chained to a desk, waiting for him. David sat down and looked over at a mirrored wall where D'Angelo had a front row seat on their little chat. "Master Bates, how nice to see you." David settled into his chair and faced the arrogant bastard, resisting the urge to tear his head off. "Less of the names, Howard, or I could have a few for you. You forget I know you as the headmaster's precious little boy. I know everything you got up to." "Ah, please, is that all you have?" David sat back in his chair, staring at him. It felt weird being in prison, and not being a prisoner. "How's the food?" he asked. "Piss poor as usual. You know they keep forgetting my caviar order. You just can't get the staff." Newt sighed. "Not joking. You're obviously not paying someone enough." "Right now I'm spending all my dosh on my exit from here. I'll be a free man soon, you mark my words. Their evidence is all circumstantial. Nothing will stick. Are you going to tell me why you're here?" "I popped by to tell you that I'm going to be a prosecutor's witness at your trial." Newt sat upright, shackles clanging. "What witness? Witness of what? You're nothing to do with any of it." "Well, it's more of a character witness, I guess. I'll tell them all about your habit of fucking little boys, gang rape, taking and sharing illegal images. Thanks for giving me mine, by the way. They're exhibit number DH01. Oh, and your little trips to stags? Those pics were particularly unflattering, don't you think? Your button mushroom of a dick looks ridiculous. It's not very photogenic, is it? Bless it." Newt stared at him open-mouthed. David continued. "And then I'll tell them about what you did to your daughter. Now, that will go down badly. She has an army of supporters out there. The courts may request her to be a witness. It won't be very comfortable for either of you. She has so much to share. What you did to her, the names of those you allowed to rape her. Now, those men will not be happy. They'll expect you to shut her up, or you and she will become a target." "She would never do that," Newt barked without conviction, knowing full well, given the right support, she would. David scoffed. "Oh, she would, trust me. I also think they should reopen the investigation into her mother's death. With the current intel they have on you, it may shed a different light." Newt stared at him. He felt ill. His heart began to race. "So," David smiled, "the way I see it, a nice detective is about to come in here and talk with you about a deal. You give him the names concerned with Dio's trafficking ring, and you'll avoid the humiliation of court. The names will come out either way because I have them. You may as well get something out of it." "They'll kill me." "I think at this stage, you and I are on hit lists anyway. In prison, you're a sitting duck. At least you have a chance on the outside." "What do you get out of this?" "My pride. I didn't stand up to you and your bullies before. I am now. You fucked me, I'm fucking you back, twice as hard, with a nice chunk of nail-spiked wood." He leaned in close over the table. "You killed Tara, Franco and Seb," he spat. Newt winced in his seat. "They weren't supposed to die. Accidents happen. It all got a bit out of hand," sighed Newt. "You still have a son, little Donald, isn't it?" "Who told you he was mine? Sorry to disappoint you, but he belongs to the footballer, not me. I couldn't give a toss about him." David shrugged. Newt looked at him. Was he lying? "Look at you," grinned David. "You're a conniving little man, thinking you know it all. Sitting there all clever, working out how to get to me, looking for the leverage." He leaned in close again. "Sorry to tell you, mate, but you're looking at someone who's not afraid of death. Now, people who aren't afraid of death are dangerous. They can't be bought or controlled. They don't mind getting bumped off. Actually, they're ready for it. They want to leave this circus." David leaned back in his chair, prodding his chest. "Now me, I'm ready for it. I could go right now, as I leave this room before you get anywhere near a courtroom, because the CPS already have all they need from me. A written statement, exhibits, and a recording of my testimony, giving your name if I get topped. My death will be added to your list of charges. There you go, all tied up in a bow." "You're bluffing." "Well, that's something you won't know until you do, and then it's too late. But I'll tell you something for nothing. When I've passed over the other side, I'll keep gunning for you. You touch another kid, I'll be your worst nightmare. You won't have a dick to fuck with. I'll tear it off with my own hands and leave you to bleed out. Demons have a lot of strength, you know, and I'm going to enjoy being one. David stood up. Newt felt sick. I'll say hi to Izzy for you. Hope you get your caviar, although best not to eat it first. I suggest you get someone to taste it for you. He walked to the door and knocked on it. Newt shouted after him. You're a bastard, David Howard, a sick loser. Yeah, but who's walking out this door? Who's the loser here? You or me? Tara said that to me once. It's a great line, don't you think? Goodbye, Lord fucking Newt. Wait! Newt hissed, beckoning him over. David looked at him. There was something in his eyes that had clicked. David had won. He walked back to the table. Newt covered the desk microphone with his hand and pulled him in close. I'll do it, he hissed in low whisper. I need to get out of here. I'll do a deal. Give you all the names you want. Get that detective and my lawyer in here now. Tell him no recordings. David stepped back, walked to the door and knocked again. The guard opened it immediately and let him out. As the door closed behind him, Newt shivered. A cold, foreboding silence filled the room. The energy had shifted, reminding him that he was alone, ruined, and on a shooter's list. With a flash of anger, he smashed his hands down on the table. The shrill of crashing shackles blasted through the speakers in the viewing room. D'Angelo, watching the scene, slid his chair back from the desk. David should have been an actor. He played him like a fiddle. He picked up his file, knocked back his coffee, and opened the door to find David thanking the guard. D'Angelo stood back, letting him into the room. What was all that about? He questioned. I asked him only to open up the second time. I knocked. He did it. It worked. They stared at each other. What did he say on that last bit? He'll deal, but no recordings. He wants you and his legal in there now. D'Angelo wanted to bear hug the hunk of a man standing in front of him, but thought better of it, not wanting to look soppy. And another thing, David grinned, opening his shirt. Don't ask me where I hid it to get it in here. He pulled out a mini voice recorder taped to his chest. You may have to wear gloves. You recorded it? Yep. It's been up your... Yes. That wasn't necessary. We have equipment there. Yeah, but you wouldn't have got that last line. When the cronies hear it, they'll all talk and the whole circus will unravel. Bingo, you're a legend. D'Angelo hugged him. He couldn't resist. It had the 2-second rule, so he didn't feel too soppy. David waved the recorder at him. D'Angelo sighed. There's an exhibit bag in my briefcase. Put the damn thing in there, will you, and give it a wipe first. Looking David up and down. Did it hurt? No wonder you were wriggling in the car on the way here. Ah, yuck. What yuck? How do you think most of the drugs transported around this country arrive at their destination? Up someone's arse. Get over it, grinned David. I don't take drugs, quipped D'Angelo. And with that thought, I probably never will. Take a seat and watch the maestro at work. He stepped out the door into the hallway, shook the hand of the waiting lawyer, and joined Newt for round 2. David sat back to enjoy the show. For once, he was not centre stage. He could relax. He may even have a little sleep. He had a second recorder. It was still running. He could listen to their conversation later.